Part 20. The Strongest Assassin in the Server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 191. Looking at the retreating Hall of Fame army, Tank looked stunned, as if in a dream. They actually beat away Qian Xingtiangxia's main team. I just saw Qian Xingtiangxia and Ao Wushuan having an argument. The war roar was loud, but I didn't hear it, but it was obvious that they had a conflict. The monkey glanced sideways at the tank. Indeed, they had the advantage just now, but after 5 seconds everything is back to normal. Even if you win in the end, you will have to pay a huge price. Oh? Why do they have conflicts? Everyone became curious. Huo Wu smiled and said, I think I know why. Ao Wushuan's contract is about to expire. If I guess correctly, Ao Wushuan probably doesn't want to renew his contract with the Hall of Fame. I'll go. Wouldn't it be embarrassing to have money all over the world? Everyone had hidden smiles on their faces. They wanted to kill the Hall of Fame, and now that Ao Wushuan has done something like this, it is like a divine assist and very satisfying. More than 10 minutes later, Ye Chen reunited with everyone. Seeing the unstoppable smiles on their faces, he curled up his lips and said, That's amazing. You actually drove away the main force of Qian Xingtiangxia. That's not what we're laughing about, it's that Ao Wushuan's contract has expired and he refuses to renew it in the Hall of Fame, Tank said. Haha, is there such a thing? Ye Chen was stunned for a moment, then laughed heartily. To be honest, he really wanted to give Ao Wushuan a thumbs up. Ye Chen, Ao Wushuan has always been Qian Xingtiangxia's right-hand man. If he leaves now, the overall strength of the Hall of Fame will drop by at least 10% or 20%. Huo Wu smiled and said, in this case, it will be much easier for us to deal with the Hall of Fame. Well, this is really a happy thing. Ye Chen nodded and smiled. No, why can't you answer the call? Huo Wu said angrily, you know, Ao Wushuan is also a rare talent. Zunguo must have extended an olive branch. Don't you have any ideas? Oh, you tell me this, don't worry, he can't join us. Ye Chen smiled nonchalantly, if you don't believe it, ask Sister Huao yourself. Everyone was curious, why? Ye Chen shook his head. There were some things that he couldn't explain. He couldn't tell them that he was a reborn person. Holy shit, you actually said it. Tank was most disgusted with anyone who was half talking, so he urged. But at this moment, a loud roar came out, interrupting him, and everyone's expressions froze. The boss has been refreshed, let's go. Hall of Fame, Guild Base. In the room, Qian Xingtiangxia was sitting on a chair, while Ao Wushuan and Brother Xiang were standing. Wushuan, you and I have been working together for 3 years, and you have absolutely no feelings for me or the Hall of Fame. I won't believe anything you say. Qian Xingtiangxia sighed and said, now is the critical period of the Hall of Fame, so you can't spend it with us? Do you really think that Ye Chen can kill us, or that other guilds can kill us? Impossible. Thin. A dead camel is bigger than a horse, and he has a deep foundation in the Hall of Fame. He is a giant after all. It's not because of this, I'm really tired, Ao Wushuan said calmly. Tired? Hee, celebrities don't tell secrets. As long as you are willing to renew your contract for another year, I can promise you to double your salary. Qian Xingtiangxia gritted his teeth. Besides money, I want other things, but the Hall of Fame cannot bring it to me, Ao Wushuan said. I know that the Hall of Fame is on the decline now and the future is worrying, but we still have support. As long as we make good arrangements, we can still rise in the future. Qian Xingtiangxia said, but once you leave, our situation will become more dangerous. When the time comes, King Shang will not let me go, nor will he forgive you. Brother Xiang on the side heard the clouds and mountains shrouded in fog. What's going on? Does the matter of the Hall of Fame have anything to do with King Shang? However, the next moment, he got the answer, as if he was struck by lightning. The Hall of Fame cannot give me what I want, because the Hall of Fame is just a branch of the business alliance. Boss, I will call you boss for the last time. You can't stop me. It's just a branch. No matter how strong I am, I won't stay. Ao Wushuan said excitedly. Thump. Suddenly there was a sound. Qian Xingtiangxia and Ao Wushuan looked back, only to find Brother Xiang lying on the ground in fear. Damn it, he was one of the top 10 giants in the Hall of Fame. He was even in the top 5 at his peak, but he was just a branch of the business alliance. Is that a mistake? Ask yourself. I have always worked hard and made a lot of contributions to the Hall of Fame, and I have never done anything to disgrace the Hall of Fame. Ao Wushuan said, everyone has his own ambitions. Now that I want to leave, King Shang cannot blame me. He can't blame you. If you leave, he will only blame me. Qian Xingtian looked depressed, but of course he would not say such words. Now that your contract has expired, someone should poach you, right? Where is your next employer? Don't tell me it's Yeshen. Of course not. If Yeshen offends the Hall of Fame, it is equivalent to offending the Merchant Alliance. They are destined not to be rampant for long. Ao Wushuan sneered. In that case, it is still a myth. Qian Xingtian is a treacherous and cunning person, and deliberately deceives Ao Wushuan, but he is cunning and treacherous. Now that the myth has extended an olive branch, Ao Wushuan will definitely not look back. If there is nothing else, I will leave first. I will fulfill my obligations before the contract expires. Ao Wushuan nodded politely and left. To Qian Xingtiangxia, that resolute figure was like a horse that had gone away and never looked back. He could never pull it back, not even if he turned into a mare. He could only sigh secretly. Brother Xiang, you know now, our Hall of Fame is just a branch of the Chamber of Commerce. With the support of a towering tree, we will not fall so easily. Qian Xingtiangxia sighed and said to Brother Xiang. Boss, don't call me Brother Xiang, I'm afraid. You can call me Xiangzi or Axiong like Boss. Ao Wushuan. Brother Xiang wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and smiled bitterly. Nonsense, you still call him boss. You are a traitor. Now that he is gone, you just take over, and my main group also serves as the head of the hall. Qian Xingtiangxia said. Hearing this, Brother Xiang was happy in his heart, and he finally made it. Boss, to be honest, I really didn't expect that we were just a branch of the Chamber of Commerce. This is terrible. Thinking of this, Brother Xiang still sighed. There's more to be feared. Among the top 10 giants, in addition to the Hall of Fame, the Chamber of Commerce also has a branch. Qian Xingtiangxia was very satisfied with Brother Xiang's attitude and said with a smile, now you know how fearsome the Chamber of Commerce is. In the Chinese theater, we almost control everything, so our position is unshakable. Smiling, Qian Xingtiangxia secretly wiped off his cold sweat. The Chamber of Commerce is awesome, but the Hall of Fame is the business of its branch, and the King of Commerce does not allow anyone to disclose it. Because of this, other guilds will definitely beat up the fallen dog when they see the Hall of Fame going downhill. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 192. If one day, the Hall of Fame completely collapses and King Shang is forced to intervene in person, then Qian Xingtiangxia will lose face and even lose his status. This is the last thing Qian Xingtiangxia wants to see. Boss, what should we do next? Over there at the Flame Mountain. Brother Xiang asked cautiously. Keep grabbing. You failed before because the people were scattered and they defeated them one by one. Qian Xingtiangxia said, but our numbers have an absolute advantage. Even if hundreds of people come together, they still can't do anything. The Flame Mountain is still ours. Searched Can on Google. Okay, boss, leave this matter to me. I will immediately gather the original troops from the Flame Mountain. A total of 500 or 600 people will go up together to kill Yeshen and take back the territory, Brother Xiang said excitedly. Seeing Qian Xin Tianxia nodded and went out to do some work. On the other side, Yechen led a large army and easily defeated a fire boss, gaining more than 500 points of fire energy again. Okay, everyone, please withdraw. With our current strength, we simply cannot defend the Flame Mountain, Yechen said. Everyone looked at each other and said depressedly, then why do you want us to come here? Grab the boss, we can't hold the territory, the boss still has to be robbed. Yechen smiled and said, we are at a disadvantage when we compete with the Hall of Fame. I am more mobile alone. I can fight when I want and run when I want. Tanks, you are always waiting for my call. Everyone nodded and left. But Yechen still stayed here, and Li Xiaofei and other 8 thieves were also left by him to continue to guard the refresh points of the major bosses. More than half an hour later, Brother Xiang rushed in with his army again and quickly circled the Flame Mountain, only to find that the enemy was gone. Humph, if they are wise enough to go against our Hall of Fame, they are destined to have no good results, Brother Xiang sneered. Brother Xiang is right. With Brother Xiang here, Yeshen and the others are no match at all. For a time, all the major group leaders flattered him, making Brother Xiang's face glow with pride. Okay, you don't need to flatter me, just follow my brother and you will be popular and drink spicy food from now on. Brother Xiang said with a smile that couldn't be concealed on his face, now that the enemy has escaped, let's go step by step and return to the boss refresh point. Brother Xiang gave an order, and the army dispersed and went to perform their tasks. However, they didn't know that 100 yards away, Yechen was standing invisibly on a huge rock, observing their actions, with a disdainful smile on his lips. Yechen waited patiently for another 20 minutes. After confirming that the Hall of Fame groups had completely dispersed, he took Xiaohong to do something. Yagamai is back again. Fart, he didn't leave at all. The Hall of Fame team was shocked and had no choice but to fight Yechen and Xiaohong again. After finally killing Xiaohong once, most of their 4 groups were wiped out. Then Yechen resurrected Xiaohong and took him away in one wave. One day. For the whole day, Yechen fought guerrilla with them at this pace and tortured them all day long. Xiaohong's favorability dropped to only 76 points, but with 500 people including Brother Xiang, the average level dropped by 2 levels, and a lot of equipment dropped. He was so frightened that he refused to go to the Flame Mountain again. Xiaohong is Yechen's pet, and the murderous red name is also counted on his head. For a moment, the red name on Yechen's head is as red as blood, and it is so bright that it is dazzling. Guilty value, 1,352 points. Hey, things have gotten serious. If I were killed now, I would have to go to jail for more than 50 days. It would be worse than death. Yechen curled his lips, with a pained expression on his face. The most important thing for him now is to save his life. If he is really killed, he will be imprisoned for 50 days, which is equivalent to not playing games for 50 days. In that case, he will still be in trouble. Advantages. He committed a heinous crime and was in great danger, but he also received a small reward. That's right, just when his sin value reached 1,000 points, the system prompted him to complete a hidden mission, obtain experience, coins and other rewards, and was awarded a title. Killing like hemp, purple quality. Level 1. Strength add 20. Physical strength add 10. Intelligence add 10. Spirit add 10. Agility add 10. Special effect, each time you kill the target, you will recover 10% of your health. Yechen happens to have 4 title grids. In addition to the Great Good Man, Perceiver and Hidden Weapon Expert, now he has put the Murderer into the grid, and his attributes have once again increased significantly. As for the special effect of killing blood to recover blood, it is indeed very powerful, but his current HP is not high, so the effect cannot be fully reflected, and it will become more powerful in the later stages. Over the next 3 days, an interesting thing happened. In the entire Flame Mountain, only 9 of the 8 thieves including Yechen and Li Xiaofei managed to defend the place. For 3 days, no one dared to come in. At the same time, some good people posted about Yagamai's huge fame in game forums, which caused speculation from all walks of life. Master Ye is really awesome. The idol among idols, he can take care of the entire Flame Mountain by himself. Yeah, he didn't know how many people he killed for this. A friend of mine saw him in the Flame Mountain last time and said that his name was glowing red and even magnified several times. You're bragging, and you're going to magnify and let your sister go, but it seems that the Flame Mountain was originally the territory of the Hall of Fame, and now it is taken care of by God yet. Could it be said that he is the one who killed the Hall of Fame and the red name? That's awesome. He dared to snatch the territory of the Hall of Fame. Alas, the Hall of Fame is in decline now. Yeshen is the only one. They are hiding and dare not snatch back the territory. The post was quickly pushed up. The administrator saw it and pinned it directly. Then more and more people posted and discussed it, making Yechen and the Hall of Fame the hottest topic at the moment and subject to criticism. Of course, Yechen was praised more. After all, the game world also believes in the strong. Yechen has such a terrifying strength, so he is naturally respected. And the Hall of Fame attracted countless people's sighs, lamenting that a generation of giants finally fell into desolation. When these criticisms finally reached Jian Xingtiangzia's ears, he was so angry that he almost exploded. This can't go on. Kill Yeshen for me, no matter the cost, Jian Xingtiangzia roared. He knew that Yechen was now a super famous name. Once he died, he would be in jail for more than 50 days. In this case, Yeshen's account would be almost half useless. Act immediately, Jian Xingtiangzia gave an order, and the army rushed towards Huoyan Mountain frantically. Then, he sent out the navy to flood the forum posts, spread some news, slander Yechen, and try to restore his reputation. Yechen SB, he is now a super famous name. Once he is killed, his account will be ruined. He is still young and dares to offend the Hall of Fame, he is simply courting death. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, Ba Wangshi-san. Chapter 193. At first glance, these people look like trolls sent by the Hall of Fame. The people who followed the post found that some of the previous replies had similar content, and the intention of targeting and belittling Yagamai was obvious, so they immediately guessed their identities. But putting these aside, it is not difficult for people to find that what they say actually makes sense. Yagamai's move was too much. After all, he was only one person. If he was really killed, he would be imprisoned for 50 days. The huge advantage gained in the early stage would disappear in an instant. For a time, everyone began to look forward to the follow-up development of this matter to see whether Yeshen would die prematurely because of too much expansion. Searched Khan on Google. In the end, Wuxin responded personally, instantly raising the popularity of the post to the highest peak. I saw him at some famous trolls and only said one thing, I will help you. Xinyue is also preparing to take action. Now Yeshen is destined to die young. Tisk, Xinyue and Hall of Fame have always been sworn enemies in the past, but now they are working together to deal with Ye God, which shows how afraid they are of Ye God. It's over. No matter how awesome Master Ye is, he will probably have to go to jail for 50 days. He may quit the game out of anger. Everyone was talking a lot, full of regrets for Yechen. On the other side, Yechen received the news and hurriedly evacuated from the Flame Mountain to join the large army. In the past few days, He has killed many fire bosses, leaders, and even ordinary monsters. He has completed the fire energy collection task every day. In addition, he still has 10,000 points left. He is not in a hurry to be trapped by the task for the time being. Yuchen, you are too impulsive. How do you plan to end it now? Huowu said angrily, with a sense of hating that iron cannot be transformed into steel. Although Tank and others did not speak, they also looked anxious and helpless. Being jailed for 50 days is no joke. After the advantages are exhausted, it is obviously extremely difficult to rise again in the future, although it is not impossible. You can do the task of reducing crimes. With your strength, leader, you can eliminate all crimes in up to 10 days. Uncle Soy Sauce is worthy of being the king of passersby. He has extensive experience in the wild, so he immediately came up with a stopgap measure. However, Yechen smiled, and everyone's concern was written on his face, which made him very touched. But since he dared to do this, he naturally had a way to end it. The dark night that occurs every 2 months in Dream World is coming soon. When monsters attack the city, although it is not a criminal reduction mission, players will increase their honor points by killing monsters and helping to defend the city. The higher the contribution, the more honor points will be obtained. The purpose of the honor value is to reduce the crime value. But it was not convenient for Yechen to explain this kind of thing, so he smiled and said, "Don't worry, everyone, I will handle this matter myself." Everyone felt a little at ease after hearing what he said. Then, Yechen formed a team with Tank, Xiaoro, and others and left with the main group. More than half an hour later, Yechen led people to a small village. Looking forward, the village is full of chickens, ducks, and other livestock. These are level 0 monsters. If they are accidentally killed, they will attract dissatisfaction from the villagers' NPCs. Yechen ignored them and took people directly to a pasture where the cows were mooing. When the ranch manager saw them, he was immediately overjoyed and said, "Warriors, you are so good to be here. A few days ago, a cow monster suddenly appeared in my ranch. It often sings regardless of the occasion or time, disturbing the public. The other cows' schedules have greatly reduced the quality of the milk, and I'm almost annoyed to death. It's just a cow. Can't you just hire a butcher to kill it?" Tank asked in confusion. "I thought so too, but that cow monster is very powerful. I hired many powerful butchers before, but they were all killed by that beast." The ranch manager sighed, suddenly looked tense, looked around, and then whispered to Yechen and others, "The most important thing is that the butchers killed it once. Who would have thought that it would come back to life in an instant, and after being resurrected, his strength increased dramatically and he killed those poor butchers in an instant?" "Oh, is there such a thing?" Tank smiled in surprise, his interest piqued. "Respect the warriors, please help me get rid of that hateful monster." "Don't worry, I will give you generous rewards," the rancher pleaded. After finishing speaking, a system prompt came to everyone's ears. "System, the ranch manager has issued you the task: destroy the crazy cow. Please accept it." "Accept." Everyone received their tasks and followed the rancher into the ranch. SHH. The rancher whistled and drove the cows in the pasture aside. Then everyone saw a cow monster with purple patterns lying in a grass nest in front of them. Why is it called a cow monster? Because it looks very different from other cows. When it stood up, everyone was surprised to find that it stood upright on its feet, like a human being. Crazy cow, elite monster. Level 15. HP, 3500/3500. Skills, dancing, resurrection. Crazy cow is not afraid of life at all. When he saw Yechen and others, it was like seeing a long-lost friend, singing and dancing as he moved towards the side. "Khan, rancher, this guy doesn't look like a threat. Are we sure we want to kill him?" Tank couldn't help but smile bitterly when he saw the funny look on Crazy Cow's face. "Kill, must kill." You don't know, after this beast came, the output of the cows dropped by 30%, the rancher roared. Hearing this, Tank and the others looked at Yechen, who shrugged and said, "Kill it." As he said this, Yechen threw a golden dart and hit the crazy cow, -1980. Moo. The crazy cow was attacked and immediately became angry, with purple patterns flashing on its body, and rushed over violently, but the next moment, another dart hit it. -1960. The crazy cow's HP instantly hit the bottom and it fell directly to the ground, but Yechen did not receive a kill prompt, which means that the crazy cow was not really dead yet. "Hey, look," Tank exclaimed. Everyone looked up and saw a flash of white light on the crazy cow, which made it stand up again and expand in size. Crazy cow, leader. Level 20. HP, 1800/9000. Skills, Savage Charge, Rage, Resurrection. This guy is really resurrected and evolved once. But its HP has only recovered to 20% of the total, Tank said. As soon as the voice fell, the crazy cow rushed over, pulling out a red light, which was Savage Charge. Shield Strike. Tank stepped forward, broke the Savage Charge with a shield, and knocked it back 2 yards. Then Yechen's dart arrived and killed it again. It's not dead yet, this guy will be resurrected, can it evolve? The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 194. As soon as the tank finished speaking, the crazy cow stood up again, and this time it doubled in size. Crazy cow, Lord. Level 25. HP, 8000/. Skills, Savage Charge, Rage, Fury, Resurrection. This time it's the Lord, everyone be careful, Tank should hold the hatred steady, Yechen shouted loudly, and Tank rushed up immediately and threw a taunt. Who knew that the eyes of the crazy cow suddenly turned red and entered a state of confusion? This time, it was no longer controlled by the hatred system. Strong attack. Yechen's eyes were stern, and he changed to a garbage dagger and broke it alive, entering the domineering state. At the same time, the crazy cow also turned on the violent buff, like a berserker, savagely charged and ran nearly 10 yards, passing Tank and Yechen, and directly broke into the group. Not good, Yechen's heart skipped a beat. Although this was the main group, Huowu, Uncle Soy Sauce, and Old Duck were not there, putting aside Yechen and Tank, this was the level of an ordinary elite group. Bang, bang. The crazy cow swung his fist randomly, killing 2 people instantly, and accumulated rage points, entering the hegemony state, doubling the damage. The next moment, Yu Feng hit a person-high earth fortress, trapping the lower body of the crazy cow, and everyone hurriedly ran away, out of the range of its hands. Well done, Yechen praised, ran over, and joined many long-range strong attacks. But at this time, the crazy cow was in a hegemony state, with very high defense. They focused their fire and attacked, but only dealt more than 6,000 damage, not causing an instant kill. At the same time, the crazy cow lost the ability to walk, waving his fists randomly, and beat Yechen violently. However, Yechen's hegemony was much more powerful than it, so it couldn't do much damage at all. Captain. The earth fortress will disappear immediately, Yu Feng shouted, and the next moment, the earth fortress that trapped the crazy cow cracked and fell down. Fortunately, Yechen reacted quickly and knocked it out again with a club. Everyone retreat, Yu Feng summons the earth wall for defense, and the tank is ready to put up the shield at any time. In case it resurrects and evolves again next time. Everyone's heart skipped a beat, and cold sweat ran down their faces. They thought to themselves, no way, if it evolves again, it will be a level 30 gold lord, how to fight it? Wait, it is not an ordinary gold lord, because it resurrects again, and its HP is only 20%, it can be fought. With this thought, everyone is looking forward to it, looking forward to its continued resurrection and evolution. Backstab and finishing blow. Pierce the heart. Everyone thought in their hearts, Ye Chen launched an attack and stabbed the crazy cow in the back with a knife. There was a clang sound, because of the dominance, he did not stab the dagger in, but the blood flashed, and he still shot it through, -1560. Strong attack. The crazy cow still had a trace of blood left, and Ye Chen backhanded a knife and killed it instantly. With a bang, the huge crazy cow fell to the ground, raising a pile of dust. However, no information about the killing was heard by everyone. Sure enough, the body of the crazy cow flashed white light again. The next second, it stood up again and became huge, and the purple pattern on its body condensed into purple armor. Crazy cow, Golden Lord. Level 30. HP, / Skills, Savage Charge, Rage, Self-Recovery, Resurrection. It's really a level 30 Golden Lord. Everyone exclaimed, but saw the crazy cow took out a huge bottle of milk from somewhere, put the nipple into his mouth, and took a big sip, plus. This guy has a recovery skill, let's fight quickly. At Ye Chen's order, the crazy cow turned on the violent buff, used Savage Charge to plow a gully on the grass, swept 10 yards, and with a bang, it actually smashed Yufeng's earth wall into pieces. Fortunately, at this time, the tank opened the cover, and the Suanwu Phantom protected everyone. Then, everyone attacked frantically, and the HP of the crazy cow dropped straight down. You know, it is not a domineering body now, and has no defense bonus. In 2 or 3 seconds, the HP of the crazy cow dropped by half. It still attacked everyone frantically, but it hit the Suanwu cover, and it was able to break the defense, and one punch could deal hundreds of damage. Fortunately, the HP of the Suanwu Phantom is as high as 10,000, so it doesn't matter at all. Focus fire, don't stop, Ye Chen said. According to the current rhythm, the cover disappears, and they can also kill the crazy cow. Ye Chen finally encountered the golden boss, so he stole it. System, you successfully used the thief on the crazy cow, and gained self-recovery *1, proficiency at 3000 points. Ye Chen was overjoyed. He stole a special skill with a casual steal, which was the recovery skill of the crazy cow. Having tasted the sweetness, Ye Chen certainly wanted to continue stealing, but the thief's cooldown was 5 seconds, and he couldn't wait. Wait 1 more second, the tank's cover will disappear, and everyone will be in danger. After all, he is the Golden Lord, and he is not joking. 3 seconds later, the basalt cover disappeared, the crazy cow wailed, and fell down with a bang. A golden light flashed with a hiss, and it had a gorgeous explosion. Damn, I finally killed it? I thought you could continue to evolve into a holy beast. You are disappointing. Tank kicked the body of the crazy cow and cursed with a smile. Everyone also laughed and hurried to check the goods. Ye Chen was the most excited because he came to fight the crazy cow with a certain purpose. When he walked over and took a look, he really found the scroll. Resurrection, special skill, passive skill, automatically triggered when death, resurrecting yourself, retaining 20% of HP, cooling time, 60 seconds. Note, this skill cannot be upgraded. Haha, it really came out. Ye Chen laughed wildly. Although this resurrection was not as abnormal as the resurrection of the crazy cow, it could still give Ye Chen 1 more life. Ye Chen studied with a smile, and then took out the scroll he had just stolen. Self-recovery, special skill instant, restores 5% of blood volume, CD, 10 seconds. Smash a golden boss and use 2 special skills, everyone exclaimed. Ye Chen corrected with a smile, no, I only exploded 1, and I stole the other one. Isn't it different? Tank smiled, and then Ye Chen handed him the self-recovery. To be honest, if Yuchen wasn't a super famous player now, he would have given up his resurrection to Tank. After all, Tank is a shield warrior and the team's ace MT. I don't want this anymore. The action of releasing this skill is to drink milk, which doesn't fit with my rough personality. Tank laughed, and then patted Yechen on the shoulder, and you need it more than me now. You are the boss, keep you, and we will be popular and drink spicy food from now on. Yes Yechen, the tank has a sacred weapon, and the team also has a priest, so the recovery skills are not lacking. You are in a critical period now, so take away the recovery skills as well, everyone also advised. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 195. That's good. Everyone had said this, but Yechen didn't insist. He claps his hands to resume learning, and then uses it directly. Suddenly, a milk bottle appears in his hand, and he stuffs it into his mouth. Ad 92. Hee, I'm really drinking milk. Yechen laughed sullenly, and everyone also snickered in low voices and couldn't help but laugh. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. Rightward arrow circled M. Crazy Cow died and everyone completed the task. Yechen quit the team, nodded to everyone, and left alone. It has been almost a month since the last time Suanwoo was killed. The Suanwoo beast soul may have been refreshed again. Yechen wanted to try his luck there. If it really refreshes, of course he can't fight it alone, but he can steal it. Because of Hong's name, he did not dare to use the teleportation stone, but rushed to Bayun City on foot. After riding the somersault cloud for more than an hour, he suddenly received a voice message of bloody murder. Oh, Yechen, what trouble did you get into? Now the Xinhui and the Hall of Fame have named you to kill you. I have no less than 100 bounty lists for you here alone. And all of them are big lists. Shueisha smiled. Before Yechen could reply, he followed up with a smile and said, haha, but don't be afraid. I've already pushed everything for you. Is that enough of a brother? Well, thank you, I owe you another favor, Yechen replied. Hey, it's okay if you remember. Shueisha smiled, and the two chatted for a while before ending the call. 2 hours passed and Yechen finally arrived in Bayun City. Sneak. Head straight to the ancient ruins. Big desert. Half an hour later, Yechen came to the desert, the 8-yard cactus territory, and found Suanwoo. This time, because there were no enemies, Suanwoo seemed very quiet. Yechen sneaked over and aimed at its solace to hit a set of skills, accumulating combo points, and then sneak attack and finishing blow. The shadow stretches. Phew. Yechen came on Suanwoo's back again, a familiar yet aggrieved feeling came over him, and Suanwoo howled in grief and ran wildly. I saw that Yechen was just like walking a horse, riding Suanwoo around. Low-level stimulating elixir. Yechen knocked down a bottle of CD potion. Thief, stole it secretly. A thief at level 10 steals level 15 Suanwoo beast souls with almost no mistakes and can steal everything. In the first hour, all he stole were good things, at least purple equipment. Later, he started to steal some garbage, white equipment, and even copper coins. This was obviously a phenomenon of being squeezed dry. After all, it is no longer a place, its first blood is lost, and its explosion rate plummets. More than 10 hours passed, and Yechen suddenly heard a system prompt in his ear. System, congratulations on completing the hidden mission. Stealing will lead to stealing. You have gained 1 million experience points, 1 gold coin, and the title of Master Thief. Thief's Hand, purple quality. Level 1. Agility add 20. Thief LV add 3. Special effect, Thief success rate add 30%. Wow, at this pace, it looks like I'm going to steal the title of God of Thieves. Yechen smiled and looked at the attributes of the thief's hand. He thought it was not good, but since he was stealing Suanwoo, he changed his title to another one, put it up, and continued to steal. Then, even if he is now a thief at level 13, he really can't steal anything good, and even often fails. Failed at such a high level? Obviously Suanwu is really almost exhausted. Forget it, it seems that this Suanwu doesn't have the holy weapon with him, he will steal it 10 times before leaving. Ye Chen smiled. Anyway, he had already stolen a piece of golden equipment, so it was considered a worthwhile trip. Half a minute later, he stole 10 more times, but all of them failed. Grandma, steal 5 more times. After 5 times, there is still no fart. Steal 3 more times. I don't believe in this evil thing. Ye Chen picked it up and stole it 3 more times, but still nothing. Hey, I really won't leave until I steal something. Ye Chen laughed angrily and started to steal again. He was ready to steal any piece of trash, even a copper coin, but after stealing for several minutes, nothing came out. Now his temper got worse, he criticized the thief, and finally got the news. System, you successfully used the thief on the Suanwu beast's soul and obtained a black leather coat *1 and add 1 points in proficiency. System, your thief has been upgraded, currently level LV11. Mysterious leather coat? More proficiency? Sacred weapon. Ye Chen was startled and quickly took out the black leather coat to see that it was indeed a sacred weapon. Directly use blacksmithing to upgrade to level 20. Black leather coat, holy weapon. Level 20. Physical defense add 280. Magic defense add 250. Strength add 220. Agility add 160. Physical strength add 20. Intelligence add 20. Spirit add 20. Fire, ice, light, and dark resistance add 100. Special effect, damage taken minus 30%. Wow, I'm so awesome. Ye Chen laughed out loud and put on the black leather coat directly, and his attributes increased a lot again. Moreover, the attributes of this black leather coat are secondary, mainly resistance and damage reduction, which is quite awesome. No more stealing, no more stealing. I feel comfortable stealing today. I will steal you next month. Ye Chen smiled and stood up. This black leather is not like his previous shadow cloak. It has no back cap and the chest is open. When Ye Chen puts it on, he feels majestic. Shadow attack and final blow. This chapter is not over yet, please click the next page to continue reading. Shadow stretches. With a whoosh, he left the back of Suanwu and teleported to 100 yards away, then disappeared and turned on the wind step to escape. After leaving the ancient ruins again, the broadcast of Bayun City suddenly sounded in my ears. Bayun City broadcast, congratulations to players Wuzui, Forbidden Fruit, Broken Halberd, Bassian, Yuman, for completing the first kill of the Hell level in Corpse Cave, and gaining 8 million experience, 3 gold coins, and 1 skill point. The leader Wuzui will be awarded an extra skill point. The broadcast was repeated 3 times in a row, and Ye Chen's face was gloomy. Mythology was the first to create a guild, and all members were upgraded to level 3, and in 15 days, the experience increased by 50%. The advantage is too great. Now Wuzui and others are already level 28, and the average level of the main group is 27. They are the first team of the light camp, and they deserve it. They have such a huge advantage, and now they come to grab the first kill of the Hell level copy, which is naturally easy. There is no way, and Ye Chen can only watch them and further expand the advantage. Mythology's background is too deep and difficult to deal with. When facing them, we must protect ourselves first, and now we must focus on dealing with the Hall of Fame. Ye Chen sighed and left silently. He was sighing at mythology, but Wuzui and others were also stunned after playing a Hell level copy. Boss, the equipment rankings have been refreshed, and there is another holy weapon, Bassian said. What? No way. There are no holy beasts now. Is it that Suanwu has been refreshed again? Hearing this, we frowned immediately. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, Ba Wang Shi-san. Chapter 196. Black leather coat? Anonymous again. Guilty opened the equipment ranking list to check, and sure enough, he found that such a sacred weapon appeared under the Black Turtle shield, but it was anonymous. As the number 1 guild in the light camp, it was extremely painful for him to miss out on 2 holy weapons in a row. Boss, there are no new holy beasts now. Could it be that Suanwu has been refreshed again and Yeshen ran over and stole it? Bassian pondered. It's very possible, Bassian. Send someone to the desert to see if Suanwu has been refreshed. After giving the order without guilt, his men immediately took action, and in less than 20 minutes the message came back, Suanwu was refreshed. Boss, Suanwu has indeed been refreshed. Shall we fight? Bassian said excitedly. Now that Xinhui has become a LV3 guild, with a total of 3,000 members, and the level is much higher than before, it shouldn't be difficult to fight Suanwu now. There's no need to fight. This Suanwu must have been squeezed dry by Yeshen. If we fight, we will only get a little experience at most. It's not necessary. Unlike everyone else, Zunzun had an angry look on his face when he received the news, because he was almost certain that black leather coat now belongs to Yeshen. Let's continue to grab the first kill of the hell level dungeon. Go ahead and tell the rest of the people, including the peripheral players who have not yet joined the guild, to take action to kill Yeshen. Not only will his account be destroyed, but he can also take the god a sacred weapon, Sinless said with a ferocious smile. Now is the best opportunity. As long as Yeshen is killed, it will be equivalent to destroying Yeshen's account and pulling out a thorn in the heart. Next, in the light camp, their Xinhui will definitely become the dominant family, without any threats or hidden dangers. On the other side, Yeshen finished stealing Suanwu and continued to rush to Qinyu City. In the middle of the process, he went offline to have a meal, and then went online again to summon Xiaohong. Xiaohong chirped and seemed to be hungry. With a slight smile, Yeshen took out a milk bottle, which was a consumable product burst out by the crazy cow. Xiaohong took the pacifier in her mouth and started eating. Xiaohong died many times in battle, and now his favorability level is only 78 points, and he is not as close to him as before, and he is helpless about this. Who knew that after it finished drinking milk, the system prompt would sound. System, the favorability of your pet Fire Phoenix has increased, currently 88 points. Wow, I didn't expect this milk bottle to have such a high-end effect. It seems that I have to take care of the crazy cow, Yeshen cried out in ecstasy. Now he is in danger, because of Xiaohong's existence, he feels quite safe. But Xiaohong's favorability dropped again and again, which made him very worried. If Xiaohong rebelled and ran away, he would have no place to cry, but now it's better, and Xiaohong's favorability has reached 88 points again. Okay, Xiaohong. Let's do something else, Yeshen said domineeringly. Anyway, in the Dark Knight, he can get a lot of honor points, so it doesn't matter if he continues to increase his crimes now. It's rare for him to achieve a super famous name. I'm afraid he won't have such an opportunity in the future. Why not just go all out and continue to increase his crime value? 1,000 points of sin points reward a murderous title, but what about 3,000 points, 5,000 points, or even more points? In his previous life, he had no access to such high-end things. Now that he has a rare opportunity, he wants to go wild. Returning to Qinyu City again, Yeshen did not go to the Flame Mountain. He is very familiar with the terrain and knows that the Flame Mountain is a dead end. It would be embarrassing to be blocked at the top of the mountain in the end. In the mangrove forest, Ye Chen finally found 2 Hall of Fame teams and directly summoned Xiaohong to start working. After many battles, Xiaohong's skills have been upgraded and become stronger and stronger. And this time, Ye Chen also boldly killed him. Now that he got the holy weapon, his HP exceeded 2000 in one fell swoop, and his defense suddenly increased a lot. In terms of HP and defense alone, he is now like an elite berserker at the same level. The attack power, speed, and explosive power are all outstanding. One step at a time is like slaughtering a pig or a dog. Every time someone is killed, a blood ball will rise from the enemy's corpse and rush directly into his body, increasing HP by 10%. What kind of thief is this? He can't die in seconds. I saw that Ye Chen was like a god of death. Wherever he passed, there were corpses everywhere. Countless blood balls rose up and rushed into his body to replenish the HP he had consumed. Occasionally, he will take out a milk bottle and take a swig into his mouth, which will increase his HP by 5%. So much so that he was still full of health even after fighting against the enemy for a long time in the midst of the enemy army. A few minutes later, most of the enemy troops were killed, and the remaining few were covered in cold sweat and almost peed in fear. "Run, I'm going to lay eggs." Amid the screams, the enemies fled in all directions, and Ye Chen was too lazy to chase them. He collected the loot and continued to look for the next target. As the day went by, he killed countless people, not only the Hall of Fame, but also a counter-attack when he saw the Xinhui team being hunted. At this point, his sin value finally reached more than 3000 points, but the system prompt did not come. It seems that 3000 is not enough. At least 5000 sin points are needed to complete the next stage of the hidden mission. Ye Chen pondered slightly, and suddenly the radio sounded. Bright Camp broadcast, "Dear players, in 3 days it will be 2 full months since the launch of the Dream World server. On that day, monsters will attack the town 24 hours a day. Players are requested to help defend the city. At that time, according to the players' wishes, we will contribute and issue rewards." The broadcast was blocked 3 times in a row, causing an uproar. Ye Chen smiled slightly, went online again after breakfast, and continued to hunt down the Hall of Fame and mythical people. But in the next few days, he often encountered some strong teams, and their people had strong control. If they couldn't control Ye Chen, they would control Xiaohong, and then the army would focus fire and kill Xiaohong instantly. Ye Chen didn't dare to fight hard, and he escaped every time. Originally, he planned to accumulate enough sin points within 3 days, but in the end he only accumulated more than 5000 points. Fortunately, he also got some rewards. System: congratulations on completing the hidden task Murderer, gaining 3 million experience, 5 gold coins, and the title of Murderer. Murderer, gold quality. Level 1. Strength add 50. Physical strength add 20. Intelligence add 20. Spirit add 20. Agility add 20. Special effect: after killing the target, HP add 20%. After getting the title of Murderer, Ye Chen found that it conflicted with the effect of Murderer, and the effect was not superimposed, but only the highest value was taken, which was 20%. Therefore, he directly replaced the Murderer and equipped the Murderer. When I went online again, the sky darkened and the howling of wild beasts could be heard everywhere. Most of the players returned to the city to defend it. Under the dim moonlight, Ye Chen walked alone in the wild area, and in an instant, he was besieged by a large group of wild beasts. Those wild beasts had red eyes in the dark night, and their attributes were amplified. Stealth. Ye Chen did not dare to waste time, and disappeared directly, heading towards the Great Snow Mountain and the Snow Village. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 197. That's right, he was going to defend the snow village alone. Most players went to defend the main city. The main city is big, there are many monsters, and the contribution is theoretically high. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow dot circled M. But the actual situation is that there are more players, and everyone is rushing to kill monsters. How much contribution does each person get? Although the snow village is just a small village, the number of monsters attacking the city cannot be compared with the main city, but if Ye Chen defends the city alone, the contribution will be off the charts. Now is a critical period, Ye Chen can't care so much. If there are other players in the snow village who compete with him for contribution, he will kill them. You know, killing monsters will gain contribution. After 24 hours, repel the monsters and complete the task of defending the city. The system will also reward contribution value according to the number of players guarding the city, town, and village. That's the big one. Ye Chen can't protect himself now, and he will never allow anyone to compete with him. Of course, it is quite difficult to defend the city alone. There is a percentage for the completion of defending the city. This is related to the number of NPCs in the city or village. If all NPCs die, the defense of the city fails. The more NPCs survive in the end, the higher the completion of defending the city, and the richer the reward. Because of this, the main city will not be captured at all, because each main city has a saint-level strongman. In comparison, the completion of defending the main city will be higher, and it will also attract more players to defend the main city. 10 minutes later, Ye Chen came to the Great Snow Mountain. Looking around, in the vast darkness, there were ferocious beasts such as snow wolves and snow wolves everywhere. Their eyes were all red, bloodthirsty, and brutal, and they rushed towards the snow village frantically. Ye Chen did not dare to neglect it, and rushed towards the snow village. When he arrived at the snow village, he found that the entrance of the village had been trampled into pieces by the army of beasts. The front has been blocked, Xiaohong, let's kill in. Ye Chen burst into an excited war cry, opened the Paoju, and killed into the beast group in front. In an instant, he was besieged by hundreds of snow wolves. Because of the dominance, the snow wolf couldn't hit him, but the number of them also made his HP drop rapidly. However, he waved his dagger and killed one with one blow. At that moment, countless blood balls rose and rushed into his body. HP kept rising and falling, but it always remained at about 80%. Roar! 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 As time passed, the large group of beasts in front were killed by Ye Chen and Xiaohong, and the roar of the beasts gradually became smaller. Ye Chen was covered in blood, and he cut a bloody path and rushed in. Monsters can't be killed. Although killing monsters will get contributions, the most important task is to protect NPCs. There are so many monsters in this village, but there are few players defending the city. If this goes on, we will all die. Hey, if I had known earlier, I would have returned to the main city to defend the city. Now I am besieged by beasts, and the teleportation stone can't be used. Ye Chen entered the killing, and there was still a surging tide of beasts in front. No people were seen, but some players could be heard complaining. Of course he had the ability to save people, but he chose to watch coldly. He was not a living Buddha. Now he could not save himself, how could he care so much? Ah! Ah! After a few seconds, screams were heard everywhere. The players finally couldn't bear it anymore and began to die. Ye Chen calmly harvested in the outer circle. He didn't hear screams for half a minute before rushing in. With the cooperation of Xiaohong, he killed monsters crazily. Backstab and final blow. Pierce the heart. A beam of blood shot out, and all the beasts in the first 5 yards were shot and killed. Run. Ye Chen took a step like lightning and rushed into the interior in an instant. Without stopping, he continued to rush towards the center of the village. The NPCs were not stupid. In this situation, they also knew how to keep each other warm. "Thank you for saving me," suddenly, a crisp girl's voice sounded. The person who spoke was an elf archer. Her name was Lan. She came to defend the city with the team before. Now everyone died in the battle, leaving only her. Just when she was about to give up, Yechen came over and saved her life. Seeing that Yechen didn't say anything, she continued, "Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, I would be dead now." "Then go to hell." Yechen's eyebrows were tangled and wrinkled. He had no choice but to destroy the flower with his hands. Swish. Yechen was very fast. He swung the sharp dagger with a sound of breaking wind, sweeping towards Ian's delicate neck. Unexpectedly, she also reacted very quickly. She quickly lowered her body to make Yechen miss, and then took a few steps to the side, questioning in disbelief, "You are sick? You saved someone and you want to kill him again?" Seeing Lan avoided, Yechen raised his eyebrows in surprise and said, "I don't want to kill you. Get out of the combat state by yourself, and then go back to the city. If I see you again, I will kill you." As he said that, he bypassed Lan and ran forward quickly. "You are really sick? Isn't it good to have one more person to help you now?" Ian's pretty face was full of dissatisfaction, and she actually followed him. Yechen sneered, knocked off a bottle of lazy potion, ran a few steps, and then shadow escaped, instantly reaching 2.5 seconds, stealth disappeared. As for Lan, he was too lazy to kill her. He thought that as long as he left, the little girl would die sooner or later. I have 8 yards of perception. Even if you are invisible, I can still see you." Ian's words were shocking. Yechen was still a little unconvinced, but the other party could really follow him closely. "Auntie, I am afraid of you. Look at my red name. Now I want to get honors with contributions and wash off my red name. You are following me now, not helping me, but stealing my contributions. You are harming me." Yechen said angrily, "You go back to the city now, there is no danger, and you can get contributions. How good is it?" "Oh, so that's the case, but you saved me once, I have to help you." Lan nodded and smiled, "Don't worry, I won't steal your contributions, I will leave before dawn." "Wow." Yechen was moved by the silly girl and said helplessly, "It's up to you. I didn't intend to save you before, and I won't save you now. You can do it yourself. If you don't leave before dawn, I will still kill you. I want wow." "Tisk tisk, you are not only sick, but also have character problems. People help you, but you actually want to repay kindness with enmity," Lan said contemptuously. "Nonsense, just go away, I will definitely not repay you with evil." Yechen snorted coldly, and while walking and killing, he finally found a dilapidated house in front of him with a bright light. "This means that there are people inside. I saw that the door, windows, and even the roof of this house were crawling with beasts. They wanted to go in and kill people and eat people. Fortunately, Yechen arrived and did not let this happen. He rushed up and killed them continuously. Soon, all the beasts in front were cleared, and blood was spilled all over the ground. The people inside, come out quickly and meet up with other villagers, otherwise your house will be demolished by beasts. You will still die then," Yechen roared. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 198. Dark Night, Baiyun City. The entire street is full of monsters and players, and the two sides are constantly fighting. There is simply no way to kill all the monsters. If you kill one, more monsters will come from outside the city. Some lone players were inevitably sacrificed during the siege by monsters. In particular, there will be many boss attacks in the main city. Every time a boss appears, countless players will inevitably fight for it. If there are conflicts between players, there will also be fights. Now the NPC guards are busy dealing with monsters and don't care about management at all, even if you become famous in the main city. But the NPC doesn't care, the players do. Basically, as soon as a red name appears, they will be attacked and killed instantly. Humph, I didn't expect that the reward for defending the city would be honor points. This thing can wash away the sin points. That guy Yeshen got a big deal. On a certain street in Baiyun City, Qian Xingtiangxia led an army to slay monsters, getting more and more angry. He did not expect that Yuchen, a super famous man, would survive under the joint attack of the two giants, Xinyue and Hall of Fame. And, it gets worse. That kid has at least 5,000 crime points. If he is killed, he will have to go to jail for more than half a year. His account will be completely destroyed. Qian Xingtiangxia said angrily, but he is so lucky. As long as he participates in defending the city and gains honor points, his sin points can be washed away. Don't worry, boss. Defending the city is not that simple, and the honor points obtained are not that many. It is impossible for him to wash away all his sins. When the time comes, we will still destroy him, Brother Xiang said with relief. Well, that's true. Qian Xingtiangxia's face softened a little, and he said bitterly, I just don't know where this kid went, otherwise I would just surround him and kill him. On the other side, Snow Village. Yuchen yelled, and the person in the house finally opened the door and came out. It was an old man who was trembling with fear. Oh, my mom. When the old man saw the red name above Yechen's head, he was so frightened that he ran back, but was held by Yechen's hand. Yuchen looked at him, his heart skipped a beat, and he frowned and said, Are you a blacksmith? The old man nodded and kept complaining, Hero, please let me go. I'm just a poor old man. My wife and children are dead. Hearing this, Yechen secretly sighed, this old man is the blacksmith with the hidden mission of the Snow Queen. If he dies, everything is over. Old man, don't worry, my red name is to kill the bad guy red name, I am a good person, and I am here to save you now. Don't be afraid. Yechen comforted. On the side, Lan curled his lips but didn't say much. Girl, support the old man and follow me, let's fight out, Yechen said, activated the Paoju, and stepped forward to clear the way with Xiao Hong. His current damage has far exceeded that of Xiao Hong. The player's HP is not high, and Xiao Hong can burn many people to death with just one skill. But now facing a monster, and a monster whose attributes increase in the dark, it can't survive at all. Yuchen can kill in seconds, but he doesn't have group attack skills. The only one who can penetrate the heart can only shoot one line. Therefore, it was very difficult for him to move forward. Now he was not alone, and he also had to protect the old blacksmith. At 8 o'clock, the inclination is 30%. There is an invisible monster. Suddenly, Lan screamed and spoke quite professional terms. Yuchen was stunned when he heard the words. It's too late. Lan suddenly pushed the blacksmith towards Yuchen, turned around, took up his bow and shot multiple arrows. 3 arrows were connected together and shot into the air. Suddenly, there was a wailing sound, and soon, a black figure appeared, the snow-hidden wolf. Do you really have 8 points of perception? Yechen was startled, and raised his hand to throw a dart, killing Shui Yin Lang with the last hit. Can I still lie to you? Lan snorted. Then you've been really helpful. Yuchen sighed. If it hadn't been for her just now, he might have been fine, but the old blacksmith might have been killed. Damn, there's actually an invisible monster here. Yuchen's face hurt. In the previous life, the player who completed the hidden mission had more than 60 levels at that time, and had various large-scale skills. He could protect the snow village by himself at his fingertips. But now, Yuchen is suffering. I can't keep my skill points, so I'll strengthen my stabbing first. Yechen pondered for half a second, then gritted his teeth and added 2 skill points to the thrust. The LV8 thrust instantly became LV10. Enhanced stabbing is useless, but it also enhances heart penetration. A low-level psychostimulant elixir. Yechen knocked down a bottle of CD potion, kept killing, and used Heart Piercer again. The bloodlight shot out for nearly 10 yards, and all the beasts in a straight line fell down. Run. Yechen asked the two of them to leave first, while he and Xiaohong stayed behind. After a while, he killed a large number of wild beasts. Yechen didn't have time to pick up the copper coins, materials, and even equipment that fell all over the ground. It took half an hour for Yechen and the other 3 to reach the center of the village and found a group of villagers holding weapons and fighting against the surrounding beasts. Yechen rushed out, sweeping the area wildly, and the old blacksmith took advantage of the situation and ran into the villagers. "Thank you, warrior," the old blacksmith said gratefully. Yechen wiped the sweat from his forehead and showed a relieved smile. Now he was halfway successful, so he just had to hold on. Most of the NPCs in Snow Village have already died, but there is nothing we can do about it. Now we can just save the remaining ones. The most important thing is that the old blacksmith is still there. For the next 20 hours, Yechen and Xiaohong bravely fought against the beast tide, killing countless monsters, and both reached level 25. During this period, Yechen's equipment was damaged countless times. Fortunately, the old blacksmith was behind him. He repaired it every time he fought 1 or 2 waves. After repairing it again, he used the forging technique to upgrade the equipment to level 25, and the attributes soared again. The sky gradually brightened. In the last 2 hours, the beast tide began to retreat and was about to end. Suddenly, a sad song sounded, and at the same time, a cold wind blew. "The Ice Queen, it's the Ice Queen," the villagers were shocked. "Warrior. Respected warrior, it was she who killed many of our villagers, including my son, please kill her," the old blacksmith said angrily. "It seems that this is also one of the links of the hidden mission." Yechen smiled, opened the Paoju, and faced the Ice Queen against the wind. The first time he fought the Ice Queen, she was in a puddle. Yechen couldn't swim, so he couldn't fight her at all. He just couldn't kill her with darts, so he let Xiaohong burn her life to kill her once. Now that she is not in the water, Yechen is not afraid at all. "Ice freeze," the Snow Queen suddenly snorted coldly, and a terrifying ice mist spread out from her body, freezing everything wherever it passed. Yechen did not dare to neglect it, jumped up to avoid it, and then quickly killed a snow wolf, using shadow attack to get behind the Snow Queen. Stun. Power attack. -3200. -6820. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, Ba Wang Shi-san. Chapter 199. With a sizzle sound, the Snow Queen's ferret coat was torn and fell directly to the ground. Suddenly, a snow-white, tight and smooth back appeared in front of Yechen's eyes. Damn, she was not wearing anything inside. Wow! On the opposite side, Lan and a group of villagers widened their eyes in disbelief, because they were lucky enough to see something they shouldn't see. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Stinky Li Amang, you actually have such a shameless skill. Hey, you old and disrespectful guys, all close your eyes. Lan is a woman, facing such a situation, she suddenly felt some sympathy for the Snow Queen. Being glared at by Ian's beautiful eyes, the villagers were embarrassed and turned their heads away reluctantly. Yechen also wanted to see what kind of thing it was that made them so surprised and reluctant, but the Snow Queen was not easy to deal with, and he did not dare to underestimate her. Backstab and finishing blow. Piercing the heart. Dash. With a whoosh, a streak of blood flashed out, piercing the beautiful back of the Ice Queen, extending nearly 10 yards. A hole was punched through the body of the Ice Queen, and she was bleeding profusely. LV10 stabbing, with an additional bleeding effect. And it does not conflict with Yechen's own bleeding skill. For a while, 2 bleeding damages appeared on the top of the head of the Ice Queen every second. And these 2 bleeding damages were amplified by the bleeding. -150. -480. Obviously, the bleeding effect of the stabbing is a little more severe than Yechen's own LV8 bleeding. It is also amplified by the bleeding, but the damage is 3 times higher. Of course, this is the effect of piercing the heart after all. The effect of ordinary stabbing must be much weaker. Damn human, die for me, the Ice Queen snorted angrily, and rows of ice spikes grew out of her feet. Fortunately, Yechen was still in a dominant state, otherwise his feet would be shot through and fixed on the ground. Swoosh. Suddenly there was a sound, and Xiao Hong was seen emitting fire all over her body, turning into a flaming bird, and knocking out the remaining blood of the Ice Queen with one blow. Thank you, warrior, now you not only protect us, but also avenge us? I will give you a generous gift when the sun rises. Later an old man with a white beard walked out from the villagers, and he said to Yechen with a smile. Yechen was extremely surprised. If he remembered correctly, this gift would be a piece of land in the snow village. In this way, even if Yechen did not buy the land, he could build the guild base here. Okay, it's almost dawn, and I should leave too. Lan smiled and took out a teleportation stone. Well, thank you today. Yechen thanked him sincerely. Ian's combat power was average, but her 8 points of perception were very strong. During the night, I don't know how many times she helped Yechen find invisible monsters. At the same time, he also learned from chatting with Lan that the other party had obtained a special skill, and each level up would increase 1 point of perception. Her skill was level 6, plus the elf's own talent, a total of 8 points of perception. In other words, she didn't do the hidden task of the Death Tower, otherwise she would have 10 points of perception. Abnormal. Add a friend, and when this is over, I will give you a thank you gift. Yechen laughed. Tisk, who wants your thank you gift? Lan snorted, made a face, and teleported away, leaving Yechen in the wind. Bah, forget it. Yechen spit on the ground and killed the retreating beasts again. 2 hours later, the night ended and the day broke. The snow village was dilapidated, like a ruin. At the same time, the system prompt rang in Yechen's ears. System, congratulations on your successful expulsion of monsters, protecting the snow village, and gaining the respect of the villagers of the snow village, and the honor value endpoint. System, congratulations on your experience buff. Within 3 days, the amount of experience gained will increase by 30%. Tisk, it actually directly rewards honor points. Yechen's mouth twitched. You know, even if he slaughtered thousands of monsters, he only increased more than 300 points of honor. As for the amount of experience gained, it is not much. The defenders of Kinyu City will get a 200% increase in experience. There is no way, who wants Kinyu City to be the LV2 main city, and Shui village is just a small village. Fortunately, Yechen doesn't care about the experience value. 10,000 points of honor are enough. In an instant, more than 5,000 sins are washed away, and the red, black, and shiny ID finally disappeared and hid. The next moment, the town refreshed. I saw a huge white light flashing, and the whole Shui village was completely renewed and restored to its original appearance. And some new NPCs were refreshed. Young warrior, thank you so much. The reason why our Shui village still exists is all your credit. Now I will give you a piece of land in Shui village. You come with me. The old village chief smiled and took Yechen's hand and took him to a vacant land, which covers an area of about 300 square meters. Thank you. Yechen got the land, thanked him profusely and left, and went to the weapon shop to find the old blacksmith. When the old blacksmith saw Yechen, he acted as if he had seen a great benefactor, serving tea and water and entertaining him politely. "Old man, I came here to ask you something." Yechen took a sip of hot tea and smiled. "Lieutenant Colonel Hyde asked you to make an ice necklace for him and give it to Heidi, the Snow Queen." The old blacksmith took a deep breath. "Yes, Lieutenant Colonel Hyde is a respectable officer, and I agreed to his request. In fact, I have completed half of the ice and snow necklace, and finally need a piece of drift ice from the top of the Great Snow Mountain. At that time, I asked my son to get it, but who knew that the Snow Queen would come out halfway and cruelly kill my son?" It's over. Yechen sighed and said, "In fact, the Snow Queen, Heidi, is also a poor person." Then, Yechen persuaded and told the story of Heidi to the old blacksmith. "Okay, I promise to complete the ice and snow necklace. I hope she can reform after getting the necklace." The old blacksmith sighed and said, "But warrior, my son has died now, and I am old and can no longer climb the Great Snow Mountain." "Old man, just agree, I will get the drift ice." Yechen smiled and said goodbye. On the top of the Great Snow Mountain, the cold wind blew Yechen's black leather coat. Yechen looked around and soon found a fist-sized piece of drift ice on the top of a big tree. This drift ice, as the name suggests, is ice that can flow. This sounds extremely unscientific, but it exists like this. To ordinary people, drift ice is an ice layer, and then there is water wrapped inside, and the flowing place is water. But if you break it, no water will flow out. This is really ice. Fist-sized drift ice. Yechen was delighted to see the prey, and took it back to the old blacksmith. The old blacksmith was overjoyed. "This piece of drift ice is too big, warrior, I can help you make an ice-attributed dagger." The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 200. Ice Attribute Dagger. Yechen smiled. He is now very powerful and can do great damage with the red flame dagger. But against monsters with high fire resistance, especially fire boss, they can't do much damage. But monsters with high fire resistance generally have low ice resistance. If you take an ice attribute dagger, the damage will be overwhelming. "Well, that's great, thank you." Yechen thanked you, and the old blacksmith nodded and went back to his own work, which he probably wouldn't be able to finish in a short time. Yechen watched it for a while, but felt it was boring, so he teleported back to Kinyu City. Entering the warehouse, I found that the blood tree had grown to a huge size. If I wanted to let it continue to grow, the warehouse was obviously not enough. I now have land and can raise it in the snow village, but it has not yet activated its intelligence and cannot fight or run. If I raise it in the snow village, I am afraid it will be accidentally killed by players. Yechen sighed. When the blood tree was still a seed, he could put it in the inventory, but now that it has grown into a blood tree and has life, he can no longer put it in the inventory. Moreover, it is not a pet and cannot be included in the pet space. How to dispose of it is really a big problem. Now Yechen admires him very much. How did that guy in his previous life cultivate the blood tree into a holy beast? Where to keep it? While sighing, Yechen took out the collected animal blood and irrigated it. Soon it was upgraded from level 22 to level 25, the same level as Yechen. In an instant, its body began to shake, and with a bang, the huge flower pot exploded. Yechen was extremely surprised. Has the blood tree turned on its intelligence? The next moment, the blood tree underwent a huge change and turned into a tree demon. Blood tree, Lord. Level 25. HP/. Skills, Vampiric, Automatic Pickup. Note, can be upgraded and grown. Master, thank you for giving me life. Susha suddenly spoke, and it was the voice of a little boy, which startled Yechen. You can actually talk. At this moment, Ye Chen was pleasantly surprised for a moment, but more importantly, he was still worried. There was no doubt that the blood tree had two fatal drawbacks. First, although it is not Ye Chen's pet, it is still subject to restrictions. Its level cannot exceed Ye Chen's. Although it is now the Lord, if it is left in the wild, it will be very dangerous to be besieged by players. Secondly, Ye Chen couldn't put it away. These 2 points are very important. After all, it only has one life. When you die, you really die. You know, Ye Chen received huge feedback power from it, with all attributes increased by 25%. If the blood tree dies, all this will be gone. You only have 50,000 HP. I'm really afraid of your death. Ye Chen patted the blood tree and sighed. Master, don't worry, I can disguise myself as an ordinary tree at any time. As he said that, the blood tree transformed into an ordinary big tree, and then turned back into a tree demon. Master, please put me in the wild. You won't have to irrigate me every day. I will kill the beasts and suck the blood myself. And when I hunt monsters, I will give you experience points, Shueshu said with a smile. If you level up, I will also level up. When I level up, I will give you greater power. But if you drop a level, I will follow you. Downgrade. Wow, can you still give me experience points? Ye Chen burst out laughing and said, you also have an automatic pickup function among your skills. Is it possible that you can also pick things up for me? Ye Shueshu said. Damn it, this one is in my mouth. Ye Chen was ecstatic, feeling that he had picked up a treasure. And master, you and I have telepathy. Even if we are not together, we can communicate with our minds at any time. The blood tree did not speak this time, but its voice rang in Ye Chen's mind. It was simply high-tech. Ye Chen couldn't stop laughing. He looked at the blood tree again and found that there was an option to form a team. He immediately sent a team request. System, the request is successful, and the blood tree becomes your teammate. I'll go, is this even okay? Ye Chen was extremely shocked. If he could form a team, he could teleport as a team. In this way, even if the blood tree is released in the wild, it will not be afraid of danger. No wonder that kid in the previous life was able to raise the blood tree into a holy beast. He must have a skill similar to team teleportation. At first, the blood tree was killed by a god-level warrior with one sword, so it was too late. Ye Chen secretly lamented that in this life, he was the first to enter the game. Others were at god level, but he was also at god level. He might even be able to raise the blood tree to god level. There is no reason to be killed. Shueshu, please stay in the warehouse for a while. I will teleport you out of the city. Ye Chen patted the blood tree, exited the warehouse and ran towards the outside of the city. Although the blood tree can now move on its own, if it is released from the warehouse and allowed to run around in the main city, it will inevitably attract countless players to watch. If it is killed as a boss, Ye Chen will have no place to cry. More than 10 minutes later, Ye Chen left the city and went to the wild. He found a remote place and used team teleportation to summon the blood tree. Okay, then you act on your own and try not to massacre the players. If you are in danger, just kill me, Ye Chen said with a smile. Although the blood tree is not his pet, it still belongs to him. If the blood tree kills someone for no reason, the guilt will be counted on his head and he will be famous. Susu. The blood tree didn't reply and walked out along the grass. Ye Chen was surprised to find that it didn't move very slowly. After raising the blood tree, Ye Chen contacted Hua Wu, Tank, and others to join them. A few minutes later, he came to the main city again, and the system prompts began to come to his ears. System, you have gained experience from the blood tree, experience value add 720. System, you get copper coins *3. System, you get a broken axe *1. Ha ha ha, cool. After receiving the system prompt, Ye Chen was ecstatic. Now the blood tree must have killed monsters of more than 20 levels. According to the experience gained, the feedback experience he received was only about 25%. But Yechen was lying down to get experience, how could he not be happy? More importantly, although the experience was only 25%, the coins, materials, and even equipment were all 100% obtained. At the entrance of Kinyu City Weapon Shop, Yechen joined Huowu, Tank, and others. Sister Huowu, you have been recruiting people recently, right? How is it going? Yechen asked. Now that he has land, he is about to start creating a guild, but he needs at least 300 elites, or even more peripheral players, otherwise, he can't defend the city from monsters. Of course, this monster attacking the city is not just a monster. At that time, the Hall of Fame will definitely join in. Even the myth will not stand idly by. There are about 200 elites now. I let Monkey and Fatty take the lead and serve as the leader of the elite group. Huowu smiled, and then looked at Yechen deeply. You said to gather in the main city, I thought you were joking, I didn't expect you to really wash off the red name.